Hi, good morning to everyone on the western part of the world, and good evening to everyone in the eastern part of the world. Thank you for joining me live today. I am coming to you from Sunkist, Florida. So today's topic is the art of succeeding. I hope everyone feels successful in their endeavors, and if not, we'll give you some helpful hints on how to try to be more successful. So, first, I want to start with what is success? So, the definition of success is our ability to reach goals. Saying that if success is our ability to reach goals, I think the next natural question is how do we succeed in life? So, I think success is on a spectrum. We generally measure success with two things, predominantly wealth. People probably say you're successful if you have wealth. The other not so common way we define success or measure success is through happiness. That's not very common. But those are definitely the two most general forms of measuring success. So, if success is the ability to reach goals in life, we generally have more than one goal in life. Sometimes it's career related, sometimes it's family related, sometimes it's personal growth related. So, success is really on a spectrum. You can be sometimes not quite as successful on some things, but successful in other areas. But when we put these together, I think if we are successful, people say we succeed. Whereas if most of our goals are unattained, we are defined as unsuccessful. So when people say we're successful in terms of, and if they equate success with wealth, generally, it's like when we endeavor to do something and we're successful, it's usually a return on our investment, or if our achievement produces the income more than we spend, I think we're determined as successful. Same thing with happiness. If we go on an endeavor and the happiness quotient is elevated more than unhappiness, I think we're determined as successful in that endeavor. And I think once our endeavors are put together, if we have more achievements in life, I think we're determined as successful. And if we have more unsuccessful achievements, we're determined as unsuccessful. So my question to you guys now is, how do we succeed? Is it intelligence? Is it effort? Is it passion? So let me give you an example. So when we're in our school, our studies, we have exams. So when we get an A, that we're successful. Is that success because we studied? So we got that successful grade, or is the success A? Is it because we just have a natural ability to do that? We have the intelligence. So there are different things that we can define success with. So I think it's important to understand that sometimes we have different definitions of success. So let's go back to success being on a spectrum, right? So we can be successful at some things and not successful at other things. I think it's the same thing with the definition of success, right? So different factors that we just discussed, like intelligence. Sometimes intelligence really helps us be successful. Sometimes that skill level is not so important in being successful, right? So some things that are really important: your attitude, which pertains to your thoughts, right? The will, the desire. Can I do it? I will do it. Yes. Like going into an activity or the endeavor that you want to pursue, going into it with the right attitude, I think is a lot, plays a part in the success that you ultimately achieve. Definitely, like we discussed with getting the A, the skill, it's the intelligence, the the ability, the shrewdness that we are able to put into the endeavor. I think that also adds up to whether or not we'll be able to succeed. Finally, one important thing I think is the effort, the hard work, um, the diligence, right? The attempts that we put into the activity or the endeavor speaks to whether we'll be able to succeed. So again, success is on a spectrum. So factors of success: attitude, skill, effort. These are not like 30%, 40%, 20%. It's all on a spectrum. Sometimes you need a little bit more skill. Sometimes your attitude will play a larger part. It depends on what you're trying to do, which will speak to how you're able to accomplish and achieve what you've set out to do. So, those are the three main components of success, right? Your attitude, your skill, and your effort. You play around with those, and there's no single or set way to do it. Sometimes you'll need a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that, which is why we're talking today about the art of succeeding. It's not, you have to put sometimes a pinch of salt, sometimes more of like a teaspoon of salt, more of like a tablespoon of attitude. So it all really depends on what you're trying to achieve. So let's talk about some habits that cultivate success. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard, but I know that I grew up with the saying, early to bed, early to rise keeps you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Never heeded much attention to that, but that's definitely an attribute to, I would say, successful people. Definitely getting enough sleep. I think most of us know that sleep is one thing that makes us cranky if we don't get enough of it. We often feel like a deficit in our energy or in some other aspects. So I think getting enough sleep is very important to really having a fruitful life, but in this case, being successful, making sure our minds, our brains are well nourished, and they have enough rest so like they can perform optimally for us. Another thing, another habit that successful people generally have in common is waking up early. This also plays in part to going to bed early. Waking up early keeps us healthy, wealthy, and wise. I think waking up early gets us ready for the day. The preparation, I think, is really important. Planning out what we're going to do for the day. I think knowing what we're going to do, setting targets is really important. And that's why getting up early and making sure we have that enough time for ourselves to plan that out, to make sure we're in the correct mindsets. I think that's very helpful. And that is one thing most successful people do have in common. Another thing I want to mention, which actually is another thing I think that makes us, I think we can all agree that makes us a little cranky if we don't have the right amount of nutrition. Nutrition gives us energy, our minds and our bodies. So I think not only is it helpful to have a balanced diet, but I think to get enough food and to make sure it's not like too sugary or too salty, so we can perform we can perform in an optimum manner. Excuse me, to perform what we need to perform. I think that's really important. So eating healthy, eating well, and eating enough, I think, to get our bodies in the mode to help our minds achieve what we want to achieve, those are very important. I think more biological components. The next thing is exercise. I think keeping our minds and our bodies and our bodies and our minds, they are connected. They run parallel with each other. So if our bodies are groggy and not well nurtured, or that we don't have enough movement, our minds are going to slow down. And I can attest to this because I have a movement disorder. When I'm not able to move around as much as I can, there are a lot of other problems that I face physically, which affect me mentally. So movement is a important part of, whether it's stretching, whether it's going to the gym. I think it's an important part of just keeping ourselves going. But in terms of success, I think it's important to keep our bodies nurtured and in a form to keep going, so our minds have enough fuel to perform what we set out to achieve. The next thing, like I mentioned, waking up early enough in the day to plan out what we want to do. So that's like keeping our eye on the prize, making sure you have a plan. Many of what happens when we're not successful is people want to achieve, let's say, a better job, but they hope for it and hope for it, and that's not really the way to succeed. If you want, let's give an example of the better job or the promotion. What we have to do, we have to work on it, right? So you make yourself a plan, a 2-month plan or whatever it is. If you keep your eyes on that goal and set your plan accordingly with whatever it is, coming in on time, making sure tasks are complete, making sure you meet the boss, I think that'll help us make sure we achieve what we set out to achieve. And the last thing is meditation. I think this is very important in terms of reflection, in terms of making sure we're doing what we want to do. So the reflection of what we've done in the day, or what we've done in the day, or meditation early in the day, to make sure we're in a sound mindset to perform what we want to perform in the day. So those, I think, are some habits of successful people, and I think some attributes that you can cultivate to make yourself more successful. Again, those habits are getting enough sleep. So the idea here is early to bed, early to rise keeps you healthy, wealthy, and wise. So getting enough sleep, and also that goes into the second component of waking up early, so we have enough personal time to plan out what we need to do for the day, to make sure that we're secure and in a calm enough mindset to perform the activities we need to perform in order to achieve what we want to achieve. The next thing is eating healthy, eating enough. So the idea here is making sure our bodies are fueled enough to let our minds nurture and achieve what they want to achieve. Exercising and movement is also helps produce a lot of chemicals in our brains that, of course, trickle down to our bodies. Positivity, which opens up our brains and our possibilities. So that goes into exercising and daily movements. So the next one is planning, making sure we have a plan so we know what activities we need to perform, making sure our eyes on the tiger, making sure we don't really deviate from what our ultimate goal is. So just a little tangent here. This is a lot of ways people block themselves from succeeding. People generally, myself included, change their goals every other day. For one simple example, not really success related, but ice cream. My goal is to have vanilla ice cream. My goal is to have it in 3 days. So every day, my goal should be wanting the vanilla ice cream. But in real life, that's not true. If my goal today is to have vanilla ice cream, by tomorrow, my goal probably will change to wanting chocolate ice cream. So that's one way in which I will block my own success. So that planning, keeping your eye on the prize, making sure you know what you want is very important. And that goes into the last component, which is the reflection. Really meditation before the day begins or after the day ends, reflecting upon what we've done and is it in line with our ultimate goal and what we want to achieve and succeed at. So you're probably wondering why some people can succeed at some things while other people cannot. I think what I just spoke about, right? We generally change our goals, and thus our achievements are left by the wayside. If we have one specific goal that we try to achieve on and we try to achieve it diligently, I can guarantee you that with the factors that I suggested before, which are attitude, skill, and effort, with that diligence, with that persistence, I think you'll get closer to what you want to achieve. So the goal orientation is very important. And if you have a goal, if you want to succeed at something, of course, the thoughts of wanting to succeed and the visualization is very important to achieve that goal. But that's not enough. You have to work for that goal. If you want to get the promotion at your job, it's not just enough to say, oh, hey, yeah, I've been here for 8 years. I deserve that promotion. I'm so good at what I do. It's not enough to close your eyes and imagine yourself in that corner office already receiving that promotion. It's important to continue to do the effort in order to receive or to attain what you're achieving, what you set out to achieve, like the promotion. So I think, again, the art of success it's an art, right? Success is not based on just one thing, intelligence or effort or skill. it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So again, the attitude is a big component of whether you're able to achieve what you set out to do. Your thoughts, can I do it? The thoughts of, I will be able to do it. I can do it versus, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Oh, there's so many hurdles in the way. The attitude, yeah, I will work through any challenges that come through my way, but I definitely want to achieve that goal. I think the attitude is very important. Of course, the skill level, which is the intelligence, the aptitude, I think the agility with which your mind can move. I think that's important to and how you achieve a goal, but I don't think it's the only factor in saying whether you can achieve something. But again, it's the attitude, it's the skill, it's the effort that you put into wanting to achieve that goal. It's these three components, mostly, but at all, depending on what your goal is, the dosage of each of these components depends on that. So I think like the visualization that comes along with wanting to achieve something, if you can visualize yourself having it, that also can play an important part to succeeding. So I hope that was helpful. We spoke a little bit about success and the art of succeeding. We can just recap. So we talked about what success is, the measures of success. How do we succeed in life? Again, there's not one thing that allows us to succeed. Instead, succeeding is like an art, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Some factors in succeeding are attitude, skill, and effort. So with those three components, I think we can move closer to what our goal is. Things that help us cultivate success, again, I think are some habits. So we want to make sure we get enough sleep. So going to bed early enough, waking up early enough so we can plan out our day, have enough time to reflect, make sure what we want to do is in line with what we want to achieve, making sure our bodies are healthy in terms of nutrition, in terms of exercise. Then, of course, like we mentioned, we can early enough to plan out our day to make sure our activities are in line with what we want to accomplish. And then, of course, the meditation, which helps the planning to make sure our thoughts are calm and focused enough. And also, after the day is finished, making sure, what we performed today, reflecting on whether it was in line with what we want to achieve, whether our what is there any way we can perform in a better way to maybe achieve what we want to achieve quicker. So I think that's all for today. I want to thank you all for joining me live, or whether you watch this once this is put on my channel. I hope you found this helpful, resourceful. So I will see you guys next time. And next time we will discuss how our failures lead to success. So I hope you guys enjoy your evening or the rest of your day, depending where you are in the world. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks for joining. Bye, guys.